Once the fisher brought a line of beautiful fish to my father to trade for a basket. The fish were worth more than one simple basket, so my father offered him a net that he could use to catch more fish. He refused, saying, "Each fish is unique. They must be caught individually or not at all." So my father offered him a variety of baskets to keep the fish separate. Again he refused, saying, "Once I have gathered them, I must carry them all together or not at all." I grew curious about the fisher, so one day I decided to go watch him fishing and perhaps speak with him. I sat on a rock not so far behind him. He didn't turn or look at me, but gazed far into the clear blue sky of the summer day, and said, "Looks like rain today. Where are your shoes, child?" It did not look like rain. I answered his question with one of my own. "Where are your shoes?" He replied, "I never had a need of them." And the path goes on and on and on. When one walks deliberately, with purpose and care, they have no need of shoes. But you run all the day long without shoes, not because you don't need them, but because you like to feel the ground beneath your feet, even if it hurts you sometimes. I thought how this was true, a truth I had not even thought of myself. "The villagers think you are a half-mad hermit," I offered. He laughed and cast his line again. I suppose they may be right. If my concern for the world about me, being greater than my concern for myself, is madness, then yes, I am mad. He continued, "We should never want for more than we need, for that is the beginning of the end. The collecting of things beyond our need is, to me, the truer madness. In the endless collecting of things we become heavy and burdened with possessions. After a time, it is the possessions that possess us." "Consider the fishes," he said. "They have no possessions and so can flit about on the waters, light and unburdened, free to swim anywhere. If they had possessions to carry, they would sink and die." This seemed obvious enough to me. Fish can't carry things anyway. "Consider also the story of a king I once knew." I quietly laughed, as if the mad fisher cavorted with kings. I thought this very unlikely. "This king was master of all he surveyed," he went on. "He gathered to himself all the riches and fine things of the world. His every desire was met, but still he wanted more. Possessed with accumulation, he neglected his kingdom, even his wife and only son. The more he gained, the more he wanted. He piled up all his treasure in a great storeroom and locked it away. But one day his young son found the key and entered the chamber. The king heard a loud crash and ran to the treasure room. There he saw a great avalanche of gold, falling on his son and crushing him. Try as he could not pull the boy from the heavy flood. He dug and dug in the gold, but his son was lost. Too late did he feel the love he had for his only son. In the collecting of things, he ignored the only thing that really did matter. The king was consumed with grief and vowed to never possess another thing that he didn't need. He gave away all his treasure to the poor people of the kingdom and set out alone to live a life free of possessions. Was this mad fisher once a king? I found it very doubtful. "You see, Lula," he said, "we often learn too late what is really important in life. There is an old saying that the owl of wisdom only spreads its wings at twilight. "What does it mean?" I asked. He replied, "It means that we only learn the valuable lessons when it is too late. We only decide to change when we are forced into it, with our backs against a wall. We can change at any time if we choose to, but we usually don't until it becomes necessary. In any event, there is always hope." And with that, I heard the sudden rumble of thunder as dark clouds suddenly gathered in the sky, and it began to rain. The fisher turned his face up to the sky and smiled into the rain. At last he turned to me with his wild but knowing eye and said, "Seek the middle way, Lula. Between all and nothing, find the middle way. But know that you will not find it out in the world. It is in a secret place that only you can find, and the greatest secret of all is that there is no secret. You will find the genie, and when you do, you will understand even the dreaming gods." I have to jump across. Then I knew he was truly mad. It made no sense. A secret? That there is no secret. But he spoke to me of the genie long before my dream where the wizard told me to find it. Was it a dream? I can't remember. For all I know, it was real, and I am dreaming now. Are we all asleep and dreaming the world? Are the gods real? It is all beginning to confuse me very much. I can only hope that he was right about the genie. I should much like to reach the mountain before winter falls. I wonder if my mother came this way. Did she brave the storms and lean into the wind, pressing on? Turning back never seems an option, I know, having come this far myself. Sometimes in the wind, I think I can hear you singing to me. You sing the rains. You sing the snows to me. It makes me brave against the elements. How my mind has frozen on you, on a soul beautiful as first frost. I am snow-blind, mad without footprints. Your coronal pallor, contoured and torpid as an angel's trumpet. I close my eyes and imagine you alone in a forest chapel, watching the snows fall on midwinter's eve. You see me through the window, standing alone in the dark pines, storm-torn and buffeted by the winds. You see me and slowly draw the curtains.